Good morning from Germany, the Evrloot office, with Lou, Deckard, and a ton of dogs. Chewy?
Well, only two. It's more
So
than enough.
we have 3 office dogs. That's Lola, you might know her. You might not know Chewbacca, which is Chewy. Chewy? No? Okay. So that's Chewbacca. And yeah, we haven't talked in a while. I think not for 4 weeks. And today has a special focus, and the focus is on giving you some background information what is happening, because from a player perspective, you don't see as much happening as is actually happening in these rooms around here. And yeah, that's kind of the structure for today's little podcast.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks, no podcasts come out, and we were kind of, I guess, upset with us a little bit because we didn't have enough really to show, and that was always, I think, the goal of a podcast like this. But then we realized, well, there's still a lot of stuff happening. We just don't really have anything to tell immediately, but it doesn't mean there's nothing happening. So we want to take this podcast at least to kind of give some back knowledge about that, and keep you up to date, even if there's nothing to immediately show.
Yeah. We are aware that the current gameplay is a little bit of a grind at the moment. Totally clear for us, and we're totally aware of that. But we want to, that's what, when we thought about and we sat down and said, hey, what's the theme of this podcast? We thought about to show you that there is stuff that we're doing that is benefiting you ultimately more than the next feature. But we're having more streams in the company where we're working on these features, but we're also working on different stuff that we want to dive deeper today.
Yeah. I think it's kind of hard. It was also hard for us because we were in this mode of delivering for so long because it was so bare bone. We started it, and then it was so easy to deliver a lot, and you didn't really have to care about that much. And then obviously the bear came, and we didn't really have to care about anything either because we were like, it's the bear anyway, we might as well build. But now all of this, and we've talked about it a couple of times already, it's getting more and more serious every couple of months. So all of a sudden you have stuff to care about and stuff to take care of that you may not find as exciting as building a new feature or coming up with a new game mechanic or something. But it's stuff that we need to do in order to be sustainable and in order to keep Evrloot going as it is, and keep us being able to work on it. Because it's another thing. Yeah.
I would say 2 things. Keep Evrloot going, on a financial perspective, but the other thing is grow Evrloot, which is also a very big thing. Maybe we start with the maintain Evrloot and the kind of keeping the status quo thing. And so what does that mean? It means we're in a very lucky situation that we have a bunch of very motivated people where we don't have a super huge burn rate of capital at the moment, because every one of the team is in there because we believe in it and it's so much fun to build. So that is kind of the perfect situation to be in. But nevertheless, some of us have quit their jobs and they can't live off savings all the time. So we need kind of a financial model to sustain through 2024. And that is a huge thing, because paying salaries as a company is much more than just you have to pay the social side behind of that. You have to take lawyer advice. You have there is a lot behind that to make a company sustainable. And the very good thing is that we can now say in December of this year that we are stable for the whole of 2024. So salaries are already planned in. And this is mainly due to, and we can't share everything due to confidentiality agreements, but we managed to secure non-dilutive funding. So that means funding that isn't buying shares of the company, but is just trusting us in what we do and doing it for the greater ecosystem. And that helps us tons to keep Evrloot afloat. And we're obviously are very careful with this. So if we're paying salary, we're just really paying the absolute minimum to sustain our lives. But this is a huge thing because no matter the market, we are here to stay and we can build throughout the next year. And that's kind of the very big achievement that we've already done the last 3 months really of securing this already.
I think we are pretty lucky to be able to have the chance to prove ourselves in this ecosystem, and we have been talking to a ton of people and have gotten a lot of really good feedback for us as well. And I think building this network of people, it's super honoring, at least for me, to get this kind of confidence back, and get this kind of commitment back as well, like getting the feedback that we are building something cool and that there is, I don't know, some legitimacy to it. So that's really exciting. What we also do, other than kind of looking in the future from like a financial point of view, we really want to set ourselves up for the next year, because I mean everybody sees the market is trending upwards again. It's super exciting. You don't want to get over your head obviously with it, but we haven't talked about this. But what I really like, for example, about the current climate, I feel like, is that the narrative seems so nice. Like it's so much about great games. It's so much about actual cool building. And don't get me wrong, there will be the degen projects here and there. Like no doubt about it. If the market goes crazy again, you will always have these projects. But I really like this. I don't know, this sentiment right now that there is this value for building something legit and building something cool, especially in the gaming space. And I think a lot of people also believe that the gaming space is going to be one of like the bigger ones, maybe even one of the carrying ones for this next circle. So I think it's really exciting times for us as well, and we need to level up in a lot of aspects as well. Like I think we've been pretty good with building, but we kind of need to realize that we are in the crypto space. We need to get a narrative going. We need to sell ourselves properly. We need to kind of combine everything. Like you can't sit down and just build and hope that people will come. Maybe it does, maybe you get lucky and it is, but you have to like get versatile. You have to, I don't know, listen to what people are demanding. You have to kind of get a little bit of everything. Yeah,
you can't just do marketing and not build, but you also like, it's you have to be this jack of all trades. And that's where we also realized what we can and what we can't be. And that's where we also search for professional help in some regards. So for example, during the past 3 months, we've acquired advisors and consultants for us as a game studio company, and more to that in a second, where they kind of fill the gaps that we have in certain aspects. So we have, for example, Derek Yo from Moonbeam, who is really trusting us and who is part of that. And from a consultant perspective, we're very, very, very happy and very proud to have Don Diego Sanchez and Crane, some well-known experts in the field of how to set up a crypto company and how to deal with everything from tokenomics to really the legal aspects and the frameworks in Europe. So they are part of our team, and the good thing is these people come and they say, we believe in your product, we believe in you guys, we believe in what you guys are doing, and you're one of the most promising projects in here, and that's what we want to build with you. And we see you have weaknesses here, and here, and let's deal with these weaknesses.
I think you can't forget that we are still pretty young, and we are doing this like at this scale for the first time. So there's so much to learn, and at least on my side, I underestimated how much there is to learn, like greatly. I never thought that there's so much, like so many nuances to get into. And it's great to have people like Crane and Don Diego, where you can you throw stuff at them and they kind of either challenge you on it, or they know if this works or if it doesn't. So it's a huge time saver for us. And like Decadores have also a huge confidence booster. Like you come up with an idea and you like present it to them, and then they're like, that's a great idea. You're like, oh wow. Those are people that have read a ton of pitch decks. They have talked with so many projects, and they're like, without really challenging you, like sometimes or most of the times they obviously do, but sometimes you have this idea and they're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. You should do that. And you're like, oh, I just came up with something smart.
Yeah, and they also help us, for example, identify other weaknesses that we have. So we knew already on the kind of the company side of things and the tokenomic side of things were not that the best ones, but we also realized that that's what we realized as well, that we kind of need operational help with marketing and these things, and that's what we're clarifying as well at the moment, so that we that what we put into the world has the echo that we wanted to have. And you can imagine how much work and how much also stress it is for us to do the product management, to deal about these new items, these new implications for the game economy. But on the other hand, do like operational marketing, create the Photoshop flyers. This is like, there is a lot to do, and you underestimate it at the start because you think, yeah, I'm putting some tech out and there is some hype, like we did at the Kusama times with the Great Conditions, right? So that was just building. There was like everything around it was natural, but to grow a brand like we have, that's kind of the tough stuff that we're dealing with, and that's what we want to assure you. There is so much happening in the background to set us up for the narrative to kick off when, say, the retail kick comes in, and yeah, we're preparing this, and this ultimately benefits you guys, and we believe more than us only concentrating on the next feature and the next thing.
Exactly, yeah. That's like another thing. Like, you can always concentrate on like a project going huge and being like, oh, we need to do this as well. Like, we need to jump on the bandwagon as well. We I don't know. We need to create the next bonk or whatever. It's so easy to just see those successes and be like,
jump
okay,
and jump and jump,
and be like, okay, now we need to do something in that direction. But at least our approach, and the approach we ultimately believe will be the one that leads to success, is like being consistent, being aware of what you're building, still obviously respecting the landscape you're in. And with crypto, there comes a certain amount of I don't know, of sensationalism maybe, but yeah, being like in the core, being strong, and I think that's what we believe in. And ultimately, if it leads to, like at the moment, I think we're still releasing stuff, but if it leads to stuff like there not being a new mechanic for a month or two, I think it's fine in the long run. It may seem like a little boring on the outside, and it may seem a little unengaging, but ultimately I think it's for the better.
Yeah. But we're well aware, and we'll get to the point of updates for the game later on. But this was important for us to get out somehow, because we always ran with this bad feeling that if we deal with kind of the stabilization or the growth side and deal a little less on the feature side of things, that we always felt kind of this guilt towards you that are currently in this grind. And just be assured that this is something we see. And this should serve as an explanation of how we do priorities and why we do stuff like that.
I'm not sure about you, but I always wondered, like, you hear all those like chief titles in companies, like chief growth manager, whatever, and I was always like, what are those guys doing? Like, how are they being paid the big bucks? And now you're like, slowly you understand, like, oh, there's a lot of meetings you have to go to just know people. There's a lot of stuff to, I don't know, take in from the outside that you don't really have the time to do if you are like focused on building something. Now I'm like, oh well, can we have one of those as well, please?
Yes, yeah, that's a good segue, because like we talked about stabilizing, so that we have a very good amount of cash flow to sustain us, and so that the people at least can pay their rent and have some food. But what we want to talk now is, and we partially said that with the advisors as well, who are in for one thing, and that is growth, because they believe in it. So they spend their time right now to grow something that will be ultimately profitable for anyone later on. For this growth part, that is something that we're heavily tackling 2024. So Q4 2023 was about stabilizing and getting kind of avoiding us being on the street while building Evrloot. Check. Yeah,
I guess, one thing that I just quickly want to say there, it's always cool like having a passion project on the side, and I think a lot of people do, and it gives you like great pleasure. But if it turns into like a full-time job on the side, at some point it's just not sustainable anymore. So that's what we kind of realized is it's draining. And then you also, I mean, you hear it in the crypto space a lot of, like, many times. I've even heard it from people in our community that just do, like, in quotation marks, just do like the user side of it, that they're like, oh, it's too much for me, I have to take a break. And I think it's the same on like the builder side. So I am really happy that we are taking this sustainable approach. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, true. Yeah, especially since, for example, like we've all done that on the side, so you can imagine how much work that is if you have a full-time job with about 50 hours a week or more, and then on the side, like on the evenings and on the weekends.
You can imagine like the office we're in, Evrloot isn't paying for that right now. So there's a lot of stuff where you need to take care of it. So
yeah, and that's a very good thing. This is sorted, and you said like how much work it is to talk to all these people to find that out, and now we come to the growth aspect of it. So if we talk growth, like you have to get in all these things, like you can how do you grow a company, and what are these stages, what is a seed investment round, and so on. And we're well versed with that right now, also due to our advisors. We're setting up an investment round early next year. We're preparing for that, and that means that, and we have, the good thing is we have a lot of like commitments already from people that want to invest, and the money that goes into this investment is ultimately for one thing, that's kind of growth of the brand and growth of us as a game studio, to echo this into the world and to make this big, yeah. Because it's really, for us, it was the last 3 months was like this breathing thing, see how we can get out of this niche mode and make this something the crypto world will see, and this is what we mean with growth, right? So stabilize, check, and now it's really how to get this big. And therefore we are not only we're not only talking about how to invest, like what's the equity side of things, how much percentage, and so on, all these things. That's a lot of work as well. But we're also talking about narratives that we want to develop, that kind of catch the attention of people. So when we, for example, get into a crypto influencer that is dealing with games, that we have a very engaging story to tell in very little words. And this is what we call a narrative, and we're working on that, so that kind of this ship can take off, because people hear Evrloot, that's the, we don't, it's still confidential how we do it, because we are still working on it. But that is something very important for us, that we have this narrative, what Evrloot is, and to push, like with this vehicle of this narrative, push Evrloot into the market. And that's a very important step for us. And as we're also talks with marketing agencies on how to do that, on how to operationally do that, and so on and so on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it, I think.
I think that was stabilizing, that was growth, and then let's talk a little about the actual game itself, huh?
Yeah, sure.
So the dogs are asleep. Hopefully you aren't.
That's a way to engage the community. If you're still listening, leave a like.
if you're not like Lola.
Yeah, I think for expeditions, we do like 2 meetings separate to the normal team meetings a week now with Brandon and me and Deckard and Oswin, where we are. Yeah, I think definitely in the finalizing stages. I hate talking about it so much, because it's always like there's always something that comes up where you're like, well, I still want to do this. But I think we are quite aware.
Stop you for a second. That's exactly like, I also like, we want to make this good, this expedition, but we also want to give you an early version that we can start, because we don't want to hype it up too much, and then everyone is like, oh, I thought like this would be AAA game, whatever, yeah. And so I'm also in this thing where I kind of hate talking about it, because I don't want to like hype everyone up, but I hate myself then if I do it, but still I have the feeling I have to, because I need to inform you guys. So that's where we want to today get this off a bit of our chest, to tell you what's kind of in why our heart is a bit torn, because this stuff takes time.
Yeah, I think that's like a little bit of our problem. I would call you a DJ, Deckard, and I think a lot of people would agree, but we are still like, at least from like it's a stupid way to say, like, but from an ethical standpoint, we aren't really identifying with someone to like hype something up to the max. We would much rather show something to someone and be like, of them being impressed of it, than ourselves being like, oh, that's the best thing ever, even if we think it is. I think that's just our natural kind of, that we, I don't know, that we kind of, I think we talked about this really early on, that our ideal mode of delivering is under-promising and over-delivering, and I think we have been good at it at a certain stage, but yeah, we get a special guest maybe. Maybe not.
So Evrloot is now behind the camera and taking a picture of us with the dogs.
He's taking a picture of us.
But now you have to come and show your face. Evrloot, man behind the scenes, a lot company strategy.
You've only seen him in a role before, but now you've seen him in a hoodie.
That was the guy with me who was in robes when we started with that. Yeah, and to talk about the expeditions a little, like this. So one thing is expeditions and one thing is the fishing and the crafting. So we're finalizing this one.
Yeah, so a big thing of the exhibition, and we talked about it before already, is like the auto battler. So one thing that's coming out really shortly now, and which we think is pretty exciting, we just have to adjust a couple of thumbnails, are some new items, which is pretty exciting. And what they are meant to do is give you the chance to kind of like get a basic gear layout for your characters, and then what we also have prepared, and Summer Shades has been doing a great job at it, and there's going to be a nice competition going on, is a Discord auto battler as well. So that's going to be quite exciting for you guys to kind of get to know the whole system, because there's always a fine line between revealing too much of the mechanic and still making it exciting. So we thought, how can it be engaging and still interesting? So there's a Discord, maybe even tournament coming up. So that's going to be pretty exciting, especially with the new items. You're going to be able to equip your stuff on chain and then run a battle against your friends or against your enemies, and get to see how the impact is. I think it's pretty exciting. And then obviously, then the expedition testing is starting, and then at one point it's coming to like a beta release for the community itself. So I think it's pretty exciting. And then we talk about it internally a lot. Then our ideal mode going forward would be to iterate over it. So how we want to do it is create something, test it out in like a hybrid of off and on-chain, like do as much on-chain as we can, but not really limit us in our creativity. And then once we see with you guys that it's being perceived as a nice mechanic, that it's engaging, that it does what we thought it would do, then we can, first of all, slowly iterate over it and make it better and greater. And then second of all, go more and more on-chain, as that is our final goal with it. Like we want to be a fully on-chain game at some point, but I think to get there, you can be really lucky and build something for a month and then release it, and it could be great and it could be fully on-chain, and it could work. But I think, at least I think we do believe that you need to kind of test it.
Few tests, and we definitely need to reset some of the progress. So that is some where we want to set the expectations that like when Expedition comes out, it shouldn't be perceived as, okay, I go in there to extract like maximum value now, because we want to use that as, so for us it's all about, remember this growth, it's all about preparing this push into the market with new people coming in, so that this is fun. That is the ultimate goal. I
think we do see some growth again now, which is nice in the market. We do see some new people coming in, which is always super exciting, and the community is always so welcoming, which I absolutely love. We see a lot of people now finally migrating their stuff as well, which is kind of a pain in the ass for us, because we kind of turned down shut off the live migrating, so we need to do it manually. But it's great to see people coming in again, and the growth is definitely there. But we really want to prepare for it to be something where, and we've talked about it before, and I'm sure we talked about it in the podcast as well. We want to go to like conventions and have people, like we talked to the Una guys yesterday, and they are like preparing for Gamescom and stuff like that. And I could just imagine ourselves like having a stand there. Like you can't go as a game studio to Gamescom and not have like a game. So imagine going there, having something actual playable that's also fun and engaging, and then people just like you want to have people that have no idea about it, like look at it and think it's cool and great. And I think we're still quite far away from that, but I think we're definitely getting there. So it's all about preparing it. You got to remember, we aren't a game studio, we're no Ubisoft, we are no Epic Games, so it is a progress, but I think we're getting there. And I think I always like this 1% theory, where it's like, hey, if you get better 1% every day, man, that adds up. So you can try to do shortcuts and try to achieve something really quickly, but in the end, if you're consistent, I think that's the ultimate way.
Do you think Lola gets better 1% every day?
And I think Lola gets worse 1% every day.
Okay, so to round this up, thank you for listening. For everyone who's still sticking around, you mentioned the great community. Before we're going to teaser it online, we're searching for a community manager. So if you're hearing this, you're going to be one of the first to hear that. If you're interested in that, hit me up, hit us up. But we're going to make a post on this. So it's a chance to join the team because we want to ramp this up a little more, the community management, because it's so much work on us personally, operationally. I guess you know by now from the talks today why that is. So we need help there. So it's a great chance to join the team.
Yeah. I mean, it would be great if we do have a lot of ideas, but it just takes so much time to get them into a format which we like. So yeah. I think ideally someone like brings his own ideas. That would be great.
That would be perfect.
Like for one, but we also have a lot of ideas. We just don't have the time to kind of. Yeah.
That's a perfect thing because one idea could be, for example, that we organize a fishing tournament where we implement something specially, but someone kind of moderates that on the community side. The time for us is just lacking because of the things we just talked about, right? So if we have someone who says like, okay, let's do that, and let's make a special Sunday event where we make a PvP tournament. Yeah, why not? We can do basically everything, and it's just like the execution is missing. The ideas are there, but like if you have ideas, if you're creative, but if you're also like able to follow through with it, maybe make a small like canvas or something flyer with it, so that you can kind of make this whole event yourself. No problem. We cannot teach you everything of that, but if you want to like learn, if you want to have a few hours a week to spend, so it should be at least I would say 5 to I don't know something hours a week to spend. It would be great and it would help us tons.
Yeah, cool. And I think that the best thing about joining us would be the team. I think I'm so proud of the team. It's so nice, and even Brandon posted something in, I think it was in a public chat a couple of days ago, where it was like, oh yeah, nice. It's so cool to have people that are so excited about working together. So
yeah. And
that would be a great benefit.
Oswin is now in his deserved Christmas holiday, and he told me again that like he just loves his new job. He also, like me, he quit his old job, and like we really love what we do. And yeah, let's make this thing big together. And I think that's a good wrap up for today.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks for listening in, guys. If you have questions, or if you have any pressing topics you would like us to talk about, I think we are pretty open about everything. So just I don't know, shoot us a Twitter DM or whatever, and then we're happy to engage. But thanks for listening in. Merry Christmas if you are believing in that kind of stuff. I don't know, it's Hanukkah as well. I think so, right? That's around this time. Well, I don't know.
There's a glitch. I didn't hear your question. So yeah, and happy Christmas to you and your families. Have a relaxing time. And
Happy New Year as well if we aren't getting in touch before anymore, and then let's have an exciting 24. I think I'm excited at least, and I think we are at a stage now, and we already said it, where we are happy to be here. So holy crap.
No. All right. Bye bye.